Tresean Gore and Rafael Estevam miss weight by 5 fucking pounds. Do you think that changes anything? I sure do. I don't even think Rafael Estevam intended to make weight. He did this shit before against Charles Johnson. You remember that? He came in heavy against him and won. I think he's doing this on purpose. He took it on short notice, right? Does this sound familiar? Takes the fight on short notice, comes in heavy, says, all right, you want me on short notice? Cool. But I'm not going to let you know that I can't make weight because then I might not get the fight, right? So he goes, yeah, for sure, I'll make that weight. Yeah, no problem. I can make that weight. Comes in, weighs heavy on purpose, right? And then goes and fights healthy. He didn't look drained at weigh-ins. He wasn't very expressive, but he didn't look drained. Okay, at least Tresean Gore had some sweat on his stomach, you know? Like he just got out of the sauna suit. I think Estevam's here doing this shit on purpose. All right, sure, I'll donate a percentage of the purse to Felipe Bunes. Maybe you could pay for another Pitbull Brothers tattoo. But I'm going to go get this win. I think that's what he's thinking. Not cool, Estevam. Not fucking cool. Interesting fight between him and Bunes, because Bunes is a 4-1 dog who's absolutely live. My biggest issue is Bunes, the way he finishes people is on the ground with his jiu-jitsu, and he's fighting a guy who's stronger than him, now clearly bigger than him, and is great at jiu-jitsu. That's what he does. He grapples. So it's a tough one. I don't know, especially now that the weight miss happened. And it's not like Estevam was drained. If I saw Estevam miss weight by 0.5 and he looked fucking drained, I would go Bunes, because Estevam's already shown cardio issues. I don't think that's the case here. I think he's, what do they call it? Gaslighting? I think he's bullshitting us, bro. I'm going to go through the full card predictions for UFC Fight Night. Tatsuro Taira versus Hyungsung Park. Shout out to Park. Takes the fight on short notice. Yes, he was going to fight next week, but hurries up the weight cut. Gets it done like a professional. Good for him. Let's talk about these fights. Starting at the bottom, going to the top. I'll start with Piera Rodriguez versus Ketlen Souza. Piera Rodriguez versus Ketlen Souza is a good fight. Ketlen Souza strikes very, very powerfully, you know, getting better at takedown defense as she goes. Her and Angela Hill, it was down to the wire. Angela Hill using some of that reach, some of that range on her, right? Getting ahead a bit early. She still hit, you know, Angela Hill with some good shots. Split decision. Before that, Yasmin Uruguay, Marnik Man wins. Lost to Karine Silva. Karine Silva is very good, very high level, and some decent wins in Invicta. Piera Rodriguez, also 5'3". I do think this matters, right? I think Ketlen Souza's got this thing on the feet. It's about, can she defend the takedown as well? Piera Rodriguez can mix it up. She knows how to grind a fight out via decision. She got whooped on the ground by Jillian Robertson. That thing is sticking in my brain. Is that why I'm going Ketlen Souza? No, I think it's because Ketlen Souza has the clear advantage on the feet. If she could stop the takedown, she'll get it. Look, they're both 5'3". I don't really see, you know, Piera Rodriguez like able to touch and move on her. I think Ketlen Souza is countering her with big shots. Piera Rodriguez is going to shoot out of desperation, and I'm going to say she doesn't get it. You know, Piera Rodriguez could try to grind this thing out on the ground, but remember, they're in Vegas, and Vegas knows how to score based on damage, which should be the way they're scoring everywhere. I'm going to go with Ketlen Souza, dog money to kick off the card. You ready for the next one? Felipe fucking Bunes versus Rafael Estevam. Rafael Estevam, I'm pissed. Because you accepted the fight. You said you'd make the weight, and you knew you weren't going to make the weight. That's some bullshit. Felipe Bunes grabbed his balls, accepted the fight, right? Catch weight bout now. But he made Felipe Bunes cut. Like, if you wanted to be respectful about it, you would go, hey, let's go 5 pounds up. I can get all the way down, right? Let's go 5 pounds up. That's not what he did. He made Felipe Bunes cut because he knows he's going to have that advantage, right? I'm going to lean Rafael Estevam, but man, was I thinking about going Felipe Bunes before I clicked the live button? I was thinking about it. If you're going Felipe Bunes dog money, props to you. Really good dude. I got to watch him spar Davis and Figueiredo, and that's when I found out about those Davis and Figueiredo calf kicks he ended up taking the title back with. I got the inside scoop because I got to watch them train. I got to, get to know him a little bit before he was in the UFC. Familiar with his style, good rangy striking, can kick well, and his jiu-jitsu's nasty, real dangerous off of his back. Felipe Bunes is one of the few guys where even when he's on his back, he can hit that arm bar, he can hit that triangle. He's not necessarily fighting for his life to stand back up like most people in MMA. You only got a 5-minute round. This ain't Khabib style, no rounds, right? If you guys heard what he said last week. I have 5 minutes to get this done. It's going to take a minute or two to set up the takedown. Once I get the person down, now I might have to pass the guard, work through. I've only got so much time on the ground. So people just stand up immediately when they get taken down. Felipe Bunes is one of the few guys who could finish it on the ground on his back. Problem is, Estevan's no easy guy to submit. All right. The jiu-jitsu tattoo right there. Look at the strength when he gets a hold of people. His issue's been cardio, and him taking this on short notice almost made me go Bunes. Tough fight to call. Bunes is over a 4-1 dog. If you go for it, I don't think you're crazy. Official pick, Estevam decision. Austin Bashi versus John Yannis. Biggest lock on the card. Austin Bashi should be able to smash this dude. Yannis has power in his hands, and that's about it. As to where Bashi should be able to bash his face in with elbows on the ground. He got a tough test in his UFC debut against Christian Rodriguez. That ain't this. This John Yannis guy is not UFC level to my eye. I think puncher's chance is all we got here. As to where Bashi, he could grind this thing out with the wrestling. He can get the back and submit with a rear naked strangle. He's got a nice rear naked strangle. Check it out on Dana White's Contender Series. Very sharp technique. Knows how to rotate the shoulder back and get all that power into that squeeze. I like what I'm seeing with Bashi on the floor. I think he's going to get it done here. I like Bashi. Lock of the card. Nick Klein versus Andrey Pulyaev. I'm leaning Pulyaev, but Nick Klein looking jacked at weigh-ins. Nick Klein's a total finisher, and he's clearly got an advantage on the ground. I just don't know that he takes Pulyaev down. And Pulyaev should have the advantage on the feet. We saw Nick Klein crumble to Mansour Abdul-Malik. I think Pulyaev, outstrikes him. Maybe it goes long. I think Pulyaev can accumulate a volume of strikes here on Nick Klein, but Nick Klein will give him a run for his money. I think it's a well-matched fight. I don't think Pulyaev is a future champ or something. So, Nick Klein, it's a winnable fight for him. My lean is Pulyaev, and I actually think it goes a little bit longer than the odds seem to suggest. Rodolfo Vieira versus Tresean Gore. Rodolfo Vieira, the best grappler on the card, versus Tresean Gore, a guy who can hit hard, a guy who's got a nasty guillotine, which is probably not going to work against the Rodolfo Vieira, and a guy who missed weight by 5 fucking pounds. I think 4.5 pounds. He didn't look drained to me either. Did Tresean Gore look drained to you at weigh-ins? Was he all like, Skeletor? You remember when Connor would weigh in and you could, cut something on his fucking orbital bones? I don't think he tried that hard to make weight either. What's up with that? So it's like, does it work to his advantage? I'll tell you what my normal take is. When somebody misses weight and they look bad at weigh-ins, I generally like to see both if I'm going to go with this. But if they miss weight and they tried, I generally think they're going to lose. When you miss weight, red flag. I'm like, are you injured? What's going on? Why did you miss weight? Were you partying with John Jones? What's going on? Why did you miss weight? With Gore, he didn't look that drained to me. So I think Gore's still in this thing. He should be the better striker here. I think it's as simple as that, honestly. Striker versus grappler. I'll lean for the grappler. I think Vieira can hit these takedowns. But Tresean Gore is a real test for him. I do like the matchup. I think a lot of people are like locking Vieira and throw it all on Vieira. I don't feel that way. I do feel like Vieira's striking is, leaves something to be desired. And Tresean Gore has consequences when he hits you. So I see how Tresean Gore could have a good night, especially if he didn't try to make weight. I mean, what's going on with these guys? I'm going to lean Vieira because when the thing hits the mat, that should be the biggest discrepancy. And they're in that little cage, so Vieira should be able to get a hold of them. It might force striking exchanges too, but I think that actually tends to backfire. Like, you could say because they're in the little cage, it's going to force exchanges. In some fights, that's true. When they did Daniel Cormier versus Stipe Miocic, the last fight at the fucking Apex cage, I think it was during COVID, right? Those guys, they're heavyweights. Stipe Miocic is 6'4". They're standing right in front of each other the whole time. They're going at it. DC's getting gassed. The output's too high. If they had that big cage, they can move around a little bit, right? But what I actually think it favors is wrestling. The cage is great for wrestlers. As somebody who's tried to wrestle people in cages and rings, I much prefer a cage. Run you into the fence. Hit that double leg on the fence. If I run you into the ropes, it's a lot harder for me to finish that takedown on the Pride style ropes, boxing ring style. So you make the cage little too. I just got 2 steps and now your back foot's already on that fence. It's great for wrestling. It's great for cage grappling. So Rodolfo Vieira via cage grappling, getting it done, getting a hold of him, dragging him onto the floor, making him work, making Tresean Gore a little tired. And if he had a bad weight cut, then, Vieira should whoop his ass. If he saved it, if he thought, hey, you know what? I'm actually not going to try too hard to make weight here because I want the energy, sits down on his punches. Tresean Gore's in this thing. Good fight. Vieira decision. Rinya Nakamura versus Nathan Fletcher. Look, I like Nathan Fletcher. All right. Ain't no hate for Nathan Fletcher, but he's from Liverpool, England, and he wrestles like it. Okay. Them English boys, they don't wrestle in high school like us Americans. And Rinya Nakamura, not an American, but a phenomenal wrestler. Rinya Nakamura, representing Japan all over the world, on an international level. Rinya Nakamura, very, very good once he gets to the top position. And Nathan Fletcher, not the best wrestler. I do think that mismatch is just going to be too much. Rinya Nakamura setting up the takedowns. His striking is not bad. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not very dangerous. But I think Rinya Nakamura, getting to the top position, getting ground and pound off, looking to get Nathan Fletcher out of there. Rinya Nakamura is a confident pick here. Danny Silva versus Kevin Vallejos. Kevin Vallejos is dangerous, man. Here's a guy with consequences when he hits you. When he throws combinations, he looks like a boxer. He's sitting down on his shots. He's timing people properly. He's in the right position with his feet in his hands. Notice now he's not off balance, right? Watch Jamal Hill strike. How much have I shit on Jamal Hill on the show? Watch Jamal Hill strike. He's fucking whipping his arms. His feet are crossing all over the place. He's off balance. Kevin Vallejos, balanced. How are you balanced? Heads in between your feet as you box, right? Athletic, explosive, shit you want to see. Danny Silva's not bad, 10-1, a well-rounded mixed martial artist. I got Kevin Vallejos knockout in this matchup. Danny Silva did look bigger than him at the stare down. I think Vallejos is going to put some shots on him in the apex. Neil Magny taking on Elizeu Zaleski. Zaleski and Neil Magny. Interesting one. Neil Magny's been fighting all the kids and losing. Now they give him someone his age. Now they give him someone, where the odds aren't so crazy. And I think Zaleski it is still a tough test. I think Zaleski's a better striker. He's got good kicks. He's got the capoeira style, but it's also Muay Thai. And I believe that blend of capoeira and Muay Thai should, be able to work those long, skinny legs of Neil Magny nicely. Neil Magny could try to grapple him, but Zaleski also solid with his jiu-jitsu. I don't really see this being a good matchup for Neil Magny. It is nice to see him get a winnable fight. I mean, that is definitely fair. But I'm going to say Zaleski gets this thing done. The more patient he is, the better. He should honestly just chop kicks and move around, defend takedowns, get off that little, that fence in that little cage. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Zaleski. I know I'm going Zaleski. And I just don't see how I can have confidence in Neil Magny at this point. 13 losses on the record, although Zaleski's got 9. But Neil Magny has to show me something, right? Before I'm like, yeah, I'm confident in Neil Magny. I can't do that. Zaleski, I think, has enough in the tank to 30-27 and Neil Magny. Karol, Rosa taking on Nora, Cornolle. It's going to be a tough fight. Nora Cornolle looked like happy she made weight. Like it looked like maybe it was a tough weight cut for her. So I noticed that. But and so did Souza, by the way. But nevertheless, mixed weight. Karol Rosa getting her ass whooped by Eileen Perez. Not a great look. Pani Kianzad win was nice, but lost to Irene Aldana before that. Kind of going back and forth here. Split decision with Yannis Santos. Lost to Nora Dump Truck Dumont before that. Unofficial nickname. Nora Cornolle, on the other hand, solid striker, clean Muay Thai, coming off of a win against Haley Cowan. Split decision loss to Jacqueline Cavalcante. I don't think that's that bad, guys. And then before that, Melissa Mullins, Jocelyn Edwards wins. These are good. These are good wins for the women's division. Jacqueline Cavalcante is good, man. I got a lot of faith in Jacqueline Cavalcante. Very mobile striker, very hard to deal with. I feel like Nora Cornolle, dog money here. Karol Rosa is definitely gatekeeper level, and it'll definitely be a fight. But I trust the striking of Nora Cornolle. She's, experienced at this point too. I think she turns out a good performance here against a Karol Rosa in a good fight, probably a close one. Esteban Ribovics versus Elvis Brenner. Two wild dudes. Elvis Brenner likes to scrap. He's from shoot the buck style, coming forward trying to decapitate you. And on the ground, he's wicked. He's nasty with it. He's trying to submit you. Fun guy to watch fight. Esteban Ribovics, a little tighter, a little cleaner, a little smarter on the feet. I like that here. And the takedown defense should be good enough, and the fight IQ should be good enough to avoid the ground game of Elvis Brenner. I think Esteban Ribovics is going to put on a show here. I think he's a pretty bad matchup for an Elvis Brenner. And Elvis Brenner can make it chaotic, but I feel like that actually plays into Ribovic's style. So I think Ribovics, timing him, hitting him with good shots, moving around a little bit, defending a takedown or two, being a little smarter, getting to the target. He could probably finish the fight. Esteban, I'm a fan. Chris Duncan versus Mateusz Rebecki. Good fight. Both of these guys coming off of really important wins in their career, right? Rebecki in that fucking war with Oralby. Very entertaining fight. Bloody fight. Ekes out the split decision against Oralby. Some of y'all hated it. That was impressive. He could beat the lower level in the UFC. Nick Fior, Loic Radzobov, Roosevelt Roberts. Not that impressive, I must admit. Lost to Diego Ferreira. The Oralby win does stand out, of course, but remember that was very close. That was competitive. And then Chris Duncan is on a fucking roll. Balaji Oki and Jordan Vasenik, those are two great wins. Those are better wins if you take out Oralby than anybody else, Rebecki's fought. So I think a lot of people seem so confident in Rebecki. This is another one where Chris Duncan is fucking live, Chris Duncan's a dog too, meaning like heart, right? So Chris Duncan can grind when the fight really gets tough. But so can Rebecki, man. Right? Did he not show that against Oralby? He's got heart, too. This fight could be badass. I really like the Oki and Vucenic finishes, both by guillotine. I think he's going to give Rebecki a run for his money. I think he's very live dog here. It's interesting, man. Remember, Manuel Torres was able to club and sub him in the first round. Manuel Torres, though, is a tornado, man. Don't walk into that, So I'm a fan of both. I'm you know, I'm on the fence. Shit. I might go Chris Duncan. Fuck. Hmm. If Rebecca if Rebecca could just keep this thing on the feet, not put his fucking head in a guillotine, I see the pathway to win a decision here. But if this fight gets crazy and wild, you know, ATT looks so good on Chris Duncan, man. He's on a roll. Ah, I'll go Chris Duncan. Fuck it. I'll go Chris Duncan just because I got a feeling, though. Okay. I got a feeling. Ooh, Chris Duncan's going to find that neck again. Chris Duncan's going to find that neck again. All right. Let's fucking go. Chris Duncan on the spot for y'all. Tatsuro Taira versus Hyung Sung Park in the main event of the evening. Hyung Sung Park stepping up on short notice, but remember, he was supposed to fight the following Saturday, so he's going to be in shape. The only concern was the weight cut. He makes weight, didn't look too crazy, you know, drained at weigh-ins. This is good. This is good. I think we're in for a fight here. I think we're in for a fight. You got undefeated Hyung Sung Park versus, you know, before his last fight, undefeated Tatsuro Taira. He goes up to the top of the division, to the division, and fights a fantastic Mexican striker. Why is the name fucking evading me? He had a great fight with Joshua Van. It is Brandon Royval. Brandon Royval, rangy, you know, was able to use his hands, his long kicks, was really able to show Tatsuro Taira another level on the feet. I think Hyung Sung Park is very technically sound, but I don't trust his ability at range like that. You know, I think Hyung Sung Park is gonna have some technical weapons for sure, but Tatsuro Taira should be able to get a hold of him. He was getting a hold of Brandon Royval, by the way. Remember, he was getting the back of Brandon Royval. That was a fucking split decision. The right guy won, but Tatsuro Taira gets to the back. He puts the far side hook in, gets the underhook, grabs that power half, cranks that power half to get you down on the mat, just like Gordon Ryan does at high level professional jiu-jitsu. Tatsuro Taira's jiu-jitsu is some of the most impressive, if not the most impressive in the UFC. We just had former jiu-jitsu world champion Marcus Buchecha Almeida fight last week. Tatsuro Taira is the one making the jiu-jitsu happen in the UFC with no jiu-jitsu accolades. You know, that's beautiful. So believe in things based on evidence, guys. Tatsuro Taira makes jiu-jitsu happen in that Apex cage. He's so comfortable fighting there. I do believe he's going to get it done against Hyung Sung Park. Although Park's a real fucking test. Although Park is probably a better striker than him, especially since what we saw last time. It's just that he's very different. He has a very different style than a Brandon Royval. I don't think he'll be able to keep Tatsuro Taira off of him. Doesn't have that height advantage either that Brandon Royval had, which he used very well. He kind of, you know, relaxes his shoulders and kind of fights a row back from you. It was tough for Tatsuro Taira to engage with him. I think Hyung Sung Park's tighter style is actually going to work against him here. I do think it's a fight. I think it could go kind of long, but Tatsuro Taira's submission and decision has to be my pick here. All right. One more time for my people in the back. I'm going with Tatsuro Taira getting back in the win column against a very tough customer in Hyung Sung Park. I got Chris Duncan against Mateusz Rebecki, although, fuck, guys. I mean, Mateusz Rebecki was my pick all week. Lord, no, it could be tomorrow when they're walking out. I might be like, fuck, Rebecki's guy. You know, Rebecki probably should win. It's just Chris Duncan's on a fucking roll. You know, I believe like Jordan Vicenix, that's a good win. I think people don't rate that win enough. You know, Oki's still a good win. He looks good at ATT. I don't know. I got a feeling in here. Okay. I'm going to not bet with my head on this one. No, I'm not going to pick with my head on this one. Picking with the heart on this one. Chris Duncan. Esteban Ribovics over Elves Brenner. I keep calling him Elvis. My blue suede shoes. No, it's not Elvis. Okay. My bad. Elves Brenner. I got Esteban Ribovics. I'm going to go Nora Cornolle over Karol Rosa. I'm going to go Neil. Oh, sorry. I'm going to go Elizeu Zaleski over Neil Magny. All love to Neil, but I'm going to go Zaleski. I'm going to go Kevin Vallejos, putting some big shots on Danny Silva. Rinya Nakamura out wrestling Nathan Fletcher. Rodolfo Vieira scoring the takedowns against a misweight Tresean Gore. I'm going to go Pulyaev, sort of technically kickboxing a Nick Klein. I'm going to go Austin Bashi, bashing up John Yannis, probably getting him out of there. I'm going to go with Rafael Estevam, although, man, Felipe Bunes is absolutely in this thing. All love to Felipe Bunes, my fucking guy, Felipe Bunes. Let's go, Felipe. I'm rooting for you. He can absolutely win this thing. He needs to let his legs go. He needs to make this a fucking fast pace, get Esteban tired, try to get him out of there in the third. Let's go, Bunes. And I'm going to go with Ketlen Souza being a better striker, sitting down on her shots against Piera Rodriguez, keeping Piera Rodriguez off of her with the underhook. 2 5'3" girls. I think they're going to have a nice little war in there to kick off the card. And those are my rapid fire picks for UFC Fight Night. Park versus Taira. Let's fucking go. What say you, chat? Yo, Mike Finch. Yo, Wildlight. Going straight to the dono. Angel Cardona, thank you for the $2. On my way to casino, 2,200 on Bashi plus Taira safe. I think Bashi's got to be my lock of the night, right? Like Austin Bashi. Austin Bashi's wrestling is powerful. His rear naked strangle's good. I mean, it's just like 9 out of 10 times. I see him winning this fight. Tatsuro Taira, up against a test for sure. Park is undefeated. But I think the parlay hits? Yes, I do. Thank you for the $2. Give me some feedback, Finch man. I got you, Angel. Of course. Mike, I saw you at Publix. Did you? I don't think I've ever been to Publix. Chevron? Nope. Didn't see me at Chevron. I drive an electric vehicle. Okay. That's how I know you didn't see me at Chevron. What up, Andrew? Against me in the Duncan fight? That's okay. That's what most people are. I mean, Duncan's the dog, so I think you're with the crowd. Tailing all picks besides Duncan. Fair play, Junior Mafia. Do your thing. Horrific radio voice, really? As long as the face isn't, horrific radio face. Hey, Mike, greetings from Chile. What up, Blanca? Greetings from Huntington Beach. We have the U.S. Surfing Open here right now. There's some, Chileans in town over here surfing. Tatsuro Taira by submission in round 3, 4, 5 plus 600. I think it probably goes into 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Park's going to be a tough customer. Taira submission, though, probably the play. Let me go back up. I missed some of you guys. Welcome back. What's up, R? Who give black belt, brada? I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, but that's just because I haven't done a lot of gi. In no gi, I'm not belted. So, but I'll go scrap with anybody, no gi. I've been doing no gi since I was 10 years old. But as far as gi goes, man, I'm really not a black belt in gi. I got a lot to learn in gi. These guys are doing all types of crazy shit in the gi. In 2025, they take the lapel, they wrap it behind the leg. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Okay. If we're fighting, I'm fucking, shirt off. Fuck it. Don't grab my coat. Okay. I'm scrapping no coat. Fighting on the beach. Finch man with the drop. Boom. You know what else I dropped? My favorite bets over on the premium channel. We absolutely ate last week. Dog after dog after dog last week. Lock of the week comes through in the main event. We had Rainier DeRitter taking out a game. Rob Whitaker in a fucking awesome fight. And then I had Martin Boudet plus 250. They let Martin Boudet go. Did you guys see this? Fuck, they let Martin Boudet go. That's crazy work. Martin Boudet's 7-1 in the UFC. Guys, Martin Boudet's 7-1 in the UFC. Can't let this guy go. Petition to get Martin Boudet back in the UFC. I think he's where he fucking belongs. Okay? What do I need to get? A Martin Boudet t-shirt? What do we need to do here? Show some love and respect to Martin Boudet. And he handled it classy, right? He's no dummy. You know? Some other people who've had trouble with the UFC, they start dunking on the UFC. Why would you do that? If you want to ever come back. I mean, if you don't ever want to come back, I mean, it's your choice, right? Free person, but you know, Makayev, you remember? It's like talking shit to the UFC, blaming stuff on the UFC, and then he's gonna bitch. Oh no, I want to come back. You fool! What? Can you imagine working for a business? You work for Joe Schmo's mechanic, and you're like, man, fuck this Joe Schmo guy. I got all these problems with Joe Schmo's. I don't like how they treat me. This was wrong. That was wrong. All right, dude. Hey, go work somewhere else. No problem. Can I come back? No, fool. What? Why would we have you back? So Martin Boudet did something very smart. He got cut. He went, hey, all good. You know what that tells me? It tells me it's not all good. It tells me he wants to come back. So come on, UFC, make it happen. I do believe that Martin Boudet deserves to be in the UFC after a 7-1 run, after a nice win when he was a dog, a plus 250 dog against Buchecha. Come on. And then Bogdan Guskov last week too. So this week, 2 dogs as premium plays over in the premium channel. If you want to see my big bets, I drop them over on the premium side. If you want to see those plays, DM at Mike Finch Show on Instagram. We'll get you in there. I also dropped a parlay booster over in the free channel. That link is in the description of this video. All right. I will see you guys after the fights, either Saturday night or Sunday. I will upload the video. Those won't be live, so please check for those. You guys will see those on the main page. I had an issue. People would come through and they'd be like, Mike, you haven't uploaded any videos. You don't do the show anymore. I'm like, click the live tab. Like, I don't know if everybody knows the live tab is there. So I feel like one of these has to not be live. That's going to be it. All right. I will see you guys on the flip side of this event. Premium channel, let's fucking eat. And until next time, as always, it's peace and love.